Let's go. Let's go. Three, two, one. Hello and welcome back to Ketchup Courts. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We are back to cover. Well, at least this is the follow up to the kind of intro stream that we did last week. In regards to Mike Marracini and the relationship with Laura Owens. Thank you so much for tuning in on this particular video. I am joined by IT Goatee, who is here to basically examine and analyze all of these declarations that was made in support of Laura Owens when she applied for the restraining order against Mike Marracini when she alleged that he had committed DV against her. That could be wrong because it just escaped my mind right now. But anyway, point is, on today's stream, that's what we're going to be analyzing those declarations as well as analyzing the messages with Mike Marracini and Laura Owens. And in with me today to do that is the one and only IT Goatee. Lord, thank you so much for returning. How are you doing? And what do you think? Like, have you seen these filings?
I've seen some of the filings. A bunch of people have been talking about it, in addition to the text messages going back and forth. So I haven't gone over these particular findings in general, so it'll be kind of a first glance impression from me.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, just like I said, we are going through. The first part is the report that I pulled up last week. I pulled it up by. I was looking for the messages because I remember Bruce mentioning the existence of messages between Mike Marracini and Laura Owens, just basically discussing the pregnancy, the cancer. She was discussing the cancer, and also not just that. Yeah, they were also discussing. They were also discussing. Pregnancy, cancer. I don't think she. No, they were not discussing any abuse between each other. No. I was going to say
No,
something.
she didn't really. She didn't allege abuse until afterwards.
Yeah. Thank you for that. So there is something that I got to find out today in my little hunt to gather together all the information relevant for this case, for this particular stream. And it was finding out that David Greengrass had been attacking and threatening Mike Marracini. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, so Mike, in the very beginning, or I would say mid-April.
Hold on, Brad. Apparently, there's an echo. Guys, I'm so sorry about that. Okay. Let me know if that's improved. I am so sorry. I did leave one of the channels on, so it may come across as an echo. Is it still there? Is the echo gone? Let me know in the chat. Hopefully it is gone now. Hopefully it's gone now, so you can speak. I mean, it's my end, it's not your end, but yeah, you can speak. Continue. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. So in the beginning, Mike didn't want to. He's long since dropped this thing, and it's been looming over him for some time. So he gets an email, or David Jingers gets an email from Mike's attorney that says, yeah, he's not anticipating coming to trial, being a witness, anything like that. So David Jingers is like, yay, that's, less time and money I've got to spend chasing down this rabbit hole. And then for whatever reason, David Jingers posts the unpublished recording of a podcast between Mike and Laura. And it's
no, continue. You're fine. You're fine. I'm just adjusting my camera because I continue.
But and that really upset Mike. And then one thing led to another, and he finds the He sends emails back and forth, and then he finds in his laptop an old MacBook that he used in the time where he was dating Laura that had
Oh.
archives of all of their messages. And that's when the community from Megan Fox and Dave Neal raised the money to be able to get it forensically imaged and then have a report detailing all of the things in those text messages. And that's really how a lot of this stuff came up, because we really wouldn't have known about the fake cancer, the oophorectomy, all of this stuff, because Mike didn't remember it, and he wouldn't have if he didn't have the messages to be like, oh my gosh, this was
Right.
even worse than I remember.
Right.
Because
Right.
when you're in the heat of the moment of this relationship that had been going on for 3 months or so, that it was just one thing after another. Pregnancy, then abortion. The abortion didn't work, and then I've got to do another abortion, another one, and another one. In the span of like 3 months, she went through like 5 abortions, and it's just so insane to think about.
I don't even know if that's actually possible. Um, how that
Like,
would even be medically possible. Okay, I keep saying she's a medical marvel every stream, but uh, could it be true? Do you think it's possible?
I don't think it's possible. There's only a certain number of things that we've been able to actually identify, and one of the pictures that I've seen shows a picture of a waiting line inside of a Planned Parenthood. So she obviously went there
Mm,
at one point. So, but it's a matter of, did the procedures that she alleged to have done, were they actually done?
right. Okay. So, in regards to those messages that you mentioned earlier, before we get to them and discuss what's going on in them, I'm not sure. I don't think this question was answered in the previous stream, but do you, or it may have been, and I just forgot. But do you know how these messages were came about to be on the internet? Because from what I remember, it wasn't much leaking or anything like that, or there wasn't people weren't putting it out there. Put it that way. But now they
Yeah,
are available. So how did that? Do you know how that came about?
I don't know how it specifically came about. I know of the existence of the Berryhill report.
Mm-hmm.
The Berryhill report has 2,500 pages of text messages,
Mm-hmm.
and it may be that someone who's in possession of them talked to Mike and asked for permission to be able to release certain bits. And
Okay. 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 So let's go on to. Let me one sec. Oh, okay. Let me share the screen now. I believe it's here. It's on the Reddit page. Is Nope, that's not the. That's not the one. That's not what I'm looking for. So that is the report. That is the
the Berryhill
report.
report, yeah.
Yeah, that is the burial report that that Brad was just alluding to, and uh it basically just authenticates and basically says that that the messages are authentic. Before we read the messages, it is actually quite fortunate that he was actually able to grab hold of all of these messages, because if it's on Mac, it's definitely not going to be lost. If it was any other phone, yeah, then yeah, it's gone. But on Mac, so that was pretty fortunate. Okay,
Well,
so
not
now
just a Mac. It's a Mac that's
on.
been offline sitting in a closet for like 8
Right,
years.
right. Usually, they're like a tossing and a toss, a stab in the dark, isn't it? Aren't they? Because some don't even turn on.
Yeah.
Uh,
So he's lucky that it turned on, and then he was worried about connecting it to the internet, because on Macs and iPhones, you have the ability to turn off if you have messages older than 2 years to auto delete those messages.
Right.
So
I'm. Mhm.
he wanted to make sure that that didn't happen.
All right. So, let's start with the twins one while it's up here because I was trying to find. I was literally just trying to find, the those exchanges. But let's start off with the twins claim first, and then when I do get the proper subreddit up, um, we can go into the messages. But do check out Justice for Clayton Reddit. I literally didn't even. I'm embarrassed to admit I did not know that there was a Reddit. I thought it was just, for what I knew, it was just the wiki. That's all I thought. But I learned yesterday that well, not yesterday, on the stream with Bruce, that there was a Reddit. He said it. I was
Hmm.
like, oh wow, there's a Reddit. Okay, so that's when I learned. And then okay, so so if you're new like me, because yeah, because I'm new, uh, looking at all of this, these are the relevant links. I will leave them in the description for you to go and check out and get all the relevant resources for you to get acquainted with this case. Because, and this part, in my opinion, and is probably the best entry point for this particular case. Wouldn't you agree? For this pregnancy claim here
Yeah.
in 2016. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. On June 4th, 2016, Jane Doe claims to be pregnant with Mike Marracini's child. By the time of the above, July 16th, JD
Jane
Jane
Doe.
Doe, Jane Doe. Sorry. Yeah, I was through off that one. Jane Doe has pushed off several appointments to have agreed upon abortion, even claiming she had a miscarriage after bombarding Mike Marracini with text after text after asked for attention and being told to only contact him if she had a medical emergency. Jane Doe claims to have a medical emergency to the same night, saying she spotting. She's having spotting and is going to the hospital. Then she calls him to give him the news. Twins. She was pregnant with his twins. Since 2014, Jane Doe has claimed to be pregnant with twins at least 4 times. And the comments are wild. And my expression at the moment is equally wild because I want to ask you, first and foremost, we have now solved the case because the first thing that I heard when during the stream, I think was from Big Johnson. The first thing that I heard is that I heard from Big Johnson was Mike Marracini and the fact that she claimed pregnancy. I was like, wait a second, what? And then I got to learn that Laura Owens claimed more pregnancies.
Hmm.
So, and somewhere along the line, I lost track of the origin, but I definitely do remember Big Johnson disclaiming it on that first stream that we done on this channel that it was 100% Mike Marracini that she claimed to have twins with, and she was but the minute she said, I think she said she faked sonogram. I was like, okay, cool. That might be Clayton Achard, clearing a card. Eckerd. I promise I'll get the pronunciation right. I realized it in the last stream. I heard myself. I was like, wait a second. I have actually been pronouncing his name wrong for like 4 weeks in a row, and you guys couldn't even say anything.
Well, we're trying to be polite. You don't want to be like, it's not Eshad, it's Ekkad.
Listen, I'm from Europe, you see. When we see names like that, the default go to is French. We just go back. We don't look at it in English. We don't remove the H, or we just look at the we just think it's French. So
Yeah,
that's how. Yeah, you know.
I get
So
it.
it is unfortunate. 1 second. Oh,
In the chat, I posted a couple of links that might be useful for you. If you look at the latest one, it gives you a really good visual of all the nonsense going on with and how weird the timeline between June and October is between Mike and Laura.
Right. Okay. So I have got the Padlet up and the Substack. Where did you want me to go?
The
Uh.
last link in the Substack, it says Laura and Mike abortion, miscarriage, and pregnancy timeline.
Okay. Gotcha. Ah. Yep. Got it. Got it. Got it. There. All right. I'll share that screen now.
So
Uh.
shout out to Moonbump for making this.
Moon bump. Moon bump. Yeah. They. I think it should be up now. There we go.
I see.
Hey Bells, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for joining, as well as Samantha. Thank you so much. If you for letting us know about the diagnosis of the stream. If you are here, let us know how you're feeling in the chat. Hit that like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Do those awesome YouTube things. So yeah, let's go back into this. So Laura and Mike abortion, miscarriage, and pregnancy timeline. Uh Brad, what's going on here? What is this? Is it Substack? Yeah. What is this Substack detailing?
So this takes the information in the text messages and helps you visualize all, because when you're, like I was saying before, when you're in the moment, you don't really understand everything that's going on. But this gives you a more zoomed out view of what she claims. So at the beginning of June, on June 4th, she says she sends an image of a positive pregnancy test. Then nothing of note happens until 4 weeks later when she expresses she's overwhelmed by getting an abortion. You go to July 2016. On July 7th, Laura says she doesn't want to go to her Planned Parenthood appointment on 7/12. Then she competes in a horse jumping competition. Then she alludes to having miscarriage and large clots. Then her mom drives her to Planned Parenthood on July 12th. On the 13th, she feels discouraged about having to wait to abort until next Friday. So she goes to an appointment and then, for whatever reason, has to wait. Then on the 15th, she claims she's having a miscarriage due to bleeding. Mike reassures her that she's not. On the 16th, she goes to the ER for excessive bleeding and tells Mike she's having twins. Then she gets a Sutter Health appointment on the 18th. That Sutter Health appointment, I believe, is... see if I can find my documents. Nope, not going to be able to.
And while he does that, make sure you hit the like button if you're liking what you're seeing so far. But yeah, if I could run a poll right now, I would have run a poll asking a question of whether, based on the timeline, that you already know that Laura is blatantly lying. I mean, just from this show jumping, the show jumping competition alone, back in June, if we go back into the timeline here, in July, sorry, on the 7th, 8th, and 9th, she goes jumping and then alludes to having a miscarriage after going jumping. She doesn't want. She says she doesn't want to go to a Planned Parenthood appointment on the 12th. So because she doesn't want to go to a Planned Parenthood appointment on the 12th, all is begging to me is she knew that she was going to use it as an excuse to not only not go on the Planned Parenthood, but to like kind of simulate this whole pregnancy abortion thing, because that's what it's bearing out to me, and it's just weird, because that moment where you said she felt discouraged, I wouldn't be surprised if you told me that she said she felt discouraged because she was told that she lost the baby when she went show jumping. Is this close? Am I making sense?
No, so we don't believe that she's claiming that horse jumping is causing her miscarriage. It's just she has a knack of being pregnant and still going and doing horse things, while also not being super visibly pregnant. Now, in this
I got
case,
you. Got you.
if if she would be 2 or 3 months along, so she wouldn't be showing much at all. But it doesn't lead well to the idea that she was actually pregnant, because she's still carrying on with these horse shows.
Right.
So the 7/18 Sutter Health appointment, that's one of the interesting appointments, because that's supposedly the first knowledge that we have, where she claims to have gotten a blood sample taken to be screened for the ovarian cancer using or for a marker called CA-125. And that marker was supposedly a 432 micrograms per milliliter, when you should have a standard range of 0 to 35. And that's the first time that is brought up, because it lists that it was collected on 7/18, but the actual document that's for this is not really shown until August 12th. So something to keep in the back of your mind.
Gotcha. So, got to ask this question here. I got to ask this question here because just to put it out there, I was only making a leap of faith with the analysis. I didn't actually know. I was just trying to, like, put together. Yeah. So so in regards to that timeline, in regards to this timeline, if we look this part that I want to look at the doctor's takes round 2 of abortion pills. Did we finish with July, by the way, before we move on to August?
No, we haven't even. No. So the
Okay, sorry.
21st, Laura says she has updated test results ready for review, but we don't know how, because I don't think we've seen those results, or at least not in the stuff that I have. But then going into the 22nd, at the doctor's office for an abortion, takes misoprostone round 1. The thing about misoprostone is that you take the first round and you're supposed to take the second set of pills 24 or 48 hours later.
Right.
So she supposedly doesn't take the round 2 until 8 days after, which is actually a week after you're supposed to take it.
Okay. Hold up. Sorry, I'm hearing.
Getting double
I've got
feedback.
echoing on my back. 1 second. All right, fixed. So sorry about that. Let me go to the chat. Sorry about that. I had something wrong. Wrong with the with my audio. Anyway, moving on to Directioni. Said that correctly. Got it right first time as well. Poor Jane Doe. Yes, it is poor Jane Doe, of course. It's a shame that Laura Owens could not go through anything that she has gone through, because it'll be a tragic time if Laura actually went through anything like this. But she did not. Only Jane Doe did. So poor Jane Doe. It's unfortunate that she went through with all the abortion and miscarriage and the cancer. But Laura, she tried saying that she went through the same thing. Not true. On TM says YouTube is a whole. I didn't get a notification. Never even asked for after I asked for one, but I'm here now. Hey y'all, this is my fault. This is not on you. This is not on you. This is actually on me. I'll be honest. I did not really put out the notifications for the stream. Using the community notes. So that is actually on me. It's not on you. So I do apologize there. I'll definitely will be communicating a lot better, so that you guys will be better informed whenever we go live for a stream. Mrs. Brightside 15, thank you. Welcome to the stream. I love this kind of that moon bump put together. It's so helpful. It does put a lot of context into the relationship from the onset. So at least we know now that there is a pattern that she has of, making up these false claims, going back this early. So, yeah. Uh, Tada Darashini says you mean she pretends to take it 8 days later. Yeah, good. Yeah, good observation there. I think that's probably the most likely course of events. Roy Lossinger says, if Jan had swallowed these guys would have never had this. I was
That's
expecting that
rude.
from Zach, by the way, not Roy. Innocent Roy. Zach, welcome to the stream. Hey, the unintelligible juror. Wow. It's not just unintelligible juror, but also the unstable juror. No, that legit. That's actually been my favorite show on Netflix. Unstable. Uh, it's a bit of a weird plug to give, but if you need a show to watch this weekend, that's a show to watch. Anyway, I pledged $5.3 million now. Inflation is getting me. I'll see you next week for you to follow up with your pledge, Zach. You always come from on Wednesday next wec. So I'll be expecting $6 million in my PayPal. So let's get back to this stream.
You okay, Ben?
Yeah. I'm just. I'm sorry. Oh gosh, I'm just. I got carried away trying to actually find the messages that I Sorry, I got carried away talking about this. The chat that I still can't find the messages in regards to Mike and Laura Owens. Hold on, let me just go back to my notes once again. It should be here. What is going on? It should be here. I think this is it. Oh nope, that's not it. All right. Oh my. Okay, nope, that's not it. All right, unfortunate. Okay, so let's go back into the calendar. I cannot find a text message to show right now, but I might be able to get it later on. I'll get it later on. Let's go back to the calendar. I'm not
Good,
gonna
man.
waste too much time trying to get that. So we're now in August, right? She
Yep.
she takes
Yeah,
quotation
takes.
marks and takes the abortion pills. There's no proof of her doing this. She didn't record it. She did not even have. You don't see that. Sorry, I got
Yeah.
tears in
Then
my
on
eyes.
so
So
Monday,
yeah,
August
go ahead. Go ahead.
Monday, August 1st, she claims she's in the ER to get fluids because they said that she's going to have the surgical abortion the next morning. And it's there
Right.
where she takes the photos that are used in the TEDx talk. She takes a string of photos to make sure that she gets the right look. And then she uses one of those photos in the TEDx talk sometime later to claim that she's being domestically abused.
Right. And was this the first? Can I call it contradiction? Was this the first time? Was this how you guys were able to piece together how she was contradicting herself when she gave the account of what happened on the trip to Iceland?
No, actually, that wasn't. We
Oh,
didn't actually know about this until very much more recently, because she there was a recent post where she was showing the metadata for the photo. And I
okay.
think it was in one of her blog posts, and the metadata showed the file name, and I was able to cross-reference that file name with the other photo that I was
Okay.
able to show. Um, And because once I had you could compare the photos, and the photos look almost identical, but
Right.
we were unable to figure out, was something to was one photoshopped, was one the other. No, it turns out it's in the same location, and she's wearing the same gown, because you can see the lot number that's listed on the gown. But in one, her eyes are more open than the other one. But it wasn't until we saw the file name that we were able to say, yes, this was two, or like a picture or two behind, to be able to show that, yes, it was taken in this string of photos at this particular time.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that explanation. Okay. So she can. I have no questions pertaining to that. I have no questions pertaining to that.
So then she goes
I
in.
would
Hmm?
go. Sorry. No. 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 Go on. Go on. I
No, I
was.
was to
I was
say, so she goes in the next day and claims to get to receive the surgical abortion, and she gets a document from Planned Parenthood that says no longer pregnant. And then a week later, she then claims that she has ovarian cancer. And in addition to that, she also apparently takes more abortion pills to get rid of any remaining tissue after the surgical abortion.
correct me if I'm wrong here, Brad, but isn't the ovarian cancer scare supposed to come after the? Isn't it supposed to come after the whole having the miscarriage? Is that supposed to come afterwards, or it doesn't really matter? It could come at any time. And I'm being a bit pedantic by trying to like zero in on the fact that she announces that she has ovarian cancer a week after she had cleared that she's no longer pregnant. What do you think?
Um, I don't think it has anything specifically to do. I think it's a matter of um, she believes that Mike is starting to distance from her,
Okay.
and she's using the pregnancy and the ovarian cancer piece to garner sympathy from Mike, to encourage him to stay with her. Because any guy, if you're
Me.
hey, I'm
Yeah.
pregnant, and be like, no, I'm done with you.
Yeah.
Any guy with decent intentions isn't going to dump someone in the midst of significant emotional stress like this.
No, you're 100% correct. I mean, I think you would even be in I forgot. Oh damn! I forgot what Ross calls them. So the joke just falls flat. Fell flat there. Anyway, but no, you will be a horrible person if you were to have found out that the girl that you're seeing has cancer and you just break up with her.
Right.
That'll be a bit weird. So I can see that's incredibly. That is incredibly abusive, psychologically abusive, if untrue. Which I'm guessing it is, because this is Laura Owens. Everything
Right.
that comes out of her mouth is borderline untrue. Borderline untrue.
So then
Go on.
she takes more abortion pills, and then she takes the mifepristone. And then on the 12th is when the document that says that the blood sample that she gave the previous month, and then the results came in, say that she has this elevated CA-125 level. And then she sends Mike proof of an appointment document after he demands to see the pregnancy and cancer information. Then supposedly she goes in for another surgical abortion 4 days later. So
Yeah.
you realize she's had what, 3 rounds of abortion pills, and is going in for her second D&E.
Right.
Like, and then 2 days later, after her second D&E, she sends him another pregnancy stick that says she's pregnant. Like, it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah, it's getting hard to keep up as well with all of this, because it's not even about keeping up. It's almost as overkill trying to do all of this if it has no ulterior motive. I'm sorry. I don't. see how. Can you envision a scenario in your head while there'll be this many visits to in just a month to the hospital pertaining to a pregnancy?
Yeah, I have no idea. It's so weird.
Yeah, that's why I wish we had a woman here. A woman here. I would love to see her opinions on that, especially if she has kids. Um, that would have been insightful. Moving on. So I should have. Oh gosh, did it go through? No, it didn't go through. All right, let me try and get it. So Brad, if you could do me a favor and share the
Mhm.
screen for me. So I'm going to send you the
Okay.
link to the messages, and then on Twitter, so you can then share the screen on here so that we can go through the messages.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Let me do that now. All done. And while Brad is gets that ready, let me just go to this chat real quick and see what you guys are saying. Right here. Kirsty Jones, welcome to the stream. Uh, I've never been on Reddit. Neither. I'm not a Redditor. Like, it's a weird place for me. I have I don't hang around there. I think I've only been there for like That Be Heard when I covered it, and that's about it, just to get the documents. So I think that's it. Uh, did you receive the file, by the way,
Y-
Brad?
Well, I see one picture. But it's only one.
Just one picture? Oh,
Yeah.
that shouldn't be the case. One second. Zach is right. 37 people watching and 17 likes. Come on, people. Zach, I am with you on this one. I share your anger and frustration. Yes. Yes. Make sure you hit the like button, folks. Hopefully you guys are well. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the stream. Um, how many pages was I supposed can we expect of these messages? Because I think I only saw no, there was three more. There was three more. So I this is the one page that I found. I'm gonna try and look for the other pages. I literally just remembered midway as I was trying to. So would you be able to run us through these um uh these text messages these text messages, sorry, between Laura and Mike Marracini, Brad?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find the post.
All right. Take your time. No worries.
Do,
No worries.
do,
Because John says, okay, thanks, Auntie M. I'm just curious to see what's all put out there. Uh, yeah. Like the fact that this is literally you gotta understand as well, like the reason why this case has so much fascination to it as well is the fact that how it has this inherent nature of there could be something at any moment. It's not gonna go away anytime soon because the next update could pretty much take this case and keep it alive and alive. It's not dead. It's not that like anything has been adjudicated, resolved, or done anything like that. So we are literally at the beginning stage. So who knows what could happen after after the whole referral? What could come of the investigation should from the prosecution should they decide to heed Judge Julie Matters' referral for prosecution? Could you actually imagine um, that particular case if the records with Mike Marracini and the text messages that all of those things come together to show how she has this nature to cause deceit and perjure and uh, what is it called, obstruct the course of justice,
mm-hmm.
we record over there. So so what we're all seeing, that is in of itself very drawing. It's like moth to a flame. Like, I mean, it's very curious just on the face of the case alone. So this doesn't look like it's gonna be over anytime soon, and it
Probably
looks
not.
like no, no. And if I'm honest, I see this going for another 3 years. I think we might get a trial in 3 years time.
3 years. Jeez, oh Pete's.
Yeah, I see. I think Laura knows that she's lost the battle, the war. Sorry, the battle in a way, but she knows that a war is coming. So I think she's going to like try and do everything to like prolong it, which is why we're gonna get like 3 years. She's not gonna go for like a year or anything like that. She's gonna try and go so long with the hope, in my opinion, with the hope that the prosecution drop the case and just be like, we don't really care about this girl. We just responded because Clayton Eckerd was, known everywhere, so we had to respond. I think that's what she's playing for, in my opinion. Ask Brad. Ask on TM says ask Brad, but I think there's a wiki of this case. Yes, there is a wiki. I will also put it in the description. I think it's Clayton'sJusticeWiki.com. I think, is that right?
Justiceforclayton.com.
JusticeForClayton.com. Sorry, my bad.
But yeah, I'm going through the documents there trying to find where those particular text messages are hiding.
Oh no, take your time. But just to let you guys know, this is just the first part of the this is just the first part of the stream. So we are going through these messages, but we're also going through the witness, the declaration by Laura, and also by Colin. We're going the supporting declaration by, wait, was I just lost it in my head. Was Colin supporting Laura Owens or Mike Marracini?
I think Colin's supporting Mike.
Mike, okay. Thanks for that. Yeah, so yeah, he filed his on the 28th of March. Everyone else filed on the 29th. And for this particular stream, we're gonna go through those declarations that kind of read and react to what's in there. We're gonna see Laura's nature. We're gonna see the nature of Laura's allegations from the declaration that we're gonna read from her on this stream. We're not gonna read everything, so we will be doing another stream um to go through all of this, but definitely and that stream will be basically going through the rest of the declarations, and hopefully that should cover the time span until 2018 to 2016 to give like a fuller picture of what was going on in that particular time and what she was alleging, especially now that we have a lot of us, well, not me because I just came into the case, but a lot of you guys would now have more updated eyes, so you could maybe read back these filings and notice some of the inconsistencies yourself.
All right, so I'm sharing my
Yeah.
screen.
Okay. Zoom in a little bit, so that it could be a bit easier for people to see. If you can zoom in. Yeah, that's it. Okay, yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. All right. So what are we reading here?
So this is the very first page. It says, in around May or early June 2016, I was asleep when I was suddenly struck in the face by Mr. Marracini. I don't know exactly how he hit me. I think either his elbow or fist hit me near the eye. I can't say for sure, but I believe he may have been asleep and involuntarily hit me somehow. I had a black eye for a day or two after this. One of his friends told me one of his ex-girlfriends also woke up with a black eye because Mr. Marracini accidentally, quote unquote, hit her while he was asleep. And then 2016, Mr. Marracini and I were out for a walk. While we were walking along the water, he grabbed me by my jacket and pushed me towards the water, acting like I was going to be thrown in. I previously told Mr. Marracini that I don't know how to swim. Later during the walk, we were passing by a shrub when Mr. Marracini used one of his hands to shove me into it. He did these things as jokes, but they felt somewhat aggressive.
Right. Okay. What more does this document contain? This is This is the declaration of Laura Owens. Okay, so
Yeah,
let me get it up. Oh, I thought. Oh, so this is where the messages are
yeah,
also.
yeah.
That's the interview. Yeah.
So it's showing the relevant portions and then the text messages that either refute or what that was actually discussed.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so.
So in this, I'm not in an abusive relationship podcast interview. The speaker Moyle says, so as this relationship progresses, you're dating and you're trying to maintain a normalcy. You try and go through this and it escalates. And Laura acknowledges that. Where did it begin to look like this was really something you needed to stop? What happened to get you to that point? Share that with us. With you. So up until that point, we had just finished talking about just before Iceland, December 2016. It had
Mhm.
just been emotional abuse.
Mhm.
So she's claiming these supposed jokes of Mike in June and then saying, oh, well, it was just emotional abuse.
Right. When it was really nothing. It's really
Yeah.
not. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. When it's just a nothing burger.
Then
Oh,
she
okay.
also states in 2016, I found out I was pregnant and felt very conflicted about whether to have the baby or terminate the pregnancy. I was diagnosed with PCOS in 2010 or 2011, which causes infertility. I was afraid I might never be able to get pregnant again, but also did not necessarily feel ready to have a baby. I told Mr. Marracini about the pregnancy and shared my feelings about terminating versus having the baby. Initially, he was supportive about giving me some time to think about the decision, but said he thought it would be best if I had an abortion. A day or two after I told him, Mr. Marracini called me while on a trip with his friends and said that he decided an abortion was the best option for us. When he came back from his trip, he told me if I had the baby, he would never want to meet the baby or be part of his or her life, and that he would hate me for going through with the pregnancy. He said that if I had an abortion, it would prove to him that I was the type of girl he wanted to be with and show him how much I valued our relationship. He said he wanted a future together and could see us having kids down the road, but he wasn't ready to be a father yet. He promised to be there and support me after the abortion. So then we go into July 2016. She
Mhm.
says, I'm not ready to do this, so it's a good thing I have another 10 days to decide on the abortion. This is so insanely hard for me, and I don't think I can imagine how it is to be in my place right now. I don't think you can imagine how hard it is to be in my place right now. So he says, it sounds good because there's really nothing to say. If you don't want me to get frustrated, then stop sending ridiculous texts or questioning my integrity when I see you. And then Laura says, I'm sorry I flip flop. I just don't want to be making a massive mistake. I was just thinking last night that my decision to terminate is really just because it wouldn't be convenient to have a kid, and that's very selfish of me to end a life because I don't want the responsibility. I need to come to terms with that. So the biggest thing
Mhm.
about this text message is that she's saying my decision to terminate. So when she claims that she was being coerced into to having this abortion or whatnot, by her saying it was my decision to terminate, then she's saying that it wasn't Mike pressuring her to do it. It was her making the decision because she didn't want the responsibility.
Oh, that is a sculpatory as F.
Yeah.
That is wow. So okay, so at least now it makes sense why Laura would suddenly at a dime just flip and say, "Oh, I'm not pregnant actually."
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah, okay. That
Mr.
does make sense.
Marracini pressured to
Mhm.
make an appointment at Planned Parenthood for the abortion. When I didn't do it fast enough, he scheduled it for me because I wanted to be with him and thought we could have a future together. And since I didn't want to bring a child into the world without a father, I decided to go through with the abortion. In July 2016, I terminated my pregnancy. And that's when she supposedly took pills 8 days apart. And But then these text messages are back in June. So she's telling him, did you talk to Planned Parenthood? How is this a thing, and why does it sound so good? How is this a thing? Why does this sound so good? She's talking about this deep fried marshmallow, I think, or something. And then, but Mike says, I haven't talked to Planned Parenthood. Right after I got off the phone with you, I had to take some calls. I will call on a few. Did you call your doctor? Okay, will I meet your friends and family at some point soon? Do you have a second to talk? You didn't answer the last one. We'll call Planned Parenthood. So then she's calling it, not him. Mm-hmm. I'm all over the place because I'm trying to make myself make an appointment early in the week for your sake to lower stress on you. I'm trying to be okay with that and trying to do that today. Jeez. And she says, in the days following my abortion, which one? I felt sad and started to feel immense guilt. I felt selfish for choosing my relationship with Mr. Marracini over the baby. I grieved for that child. Whatever. That would never be, and started to feel depressed. On several occasions, when I tried to talk with Mr. Marracini about how I felt, he got angry and lost control of his temper. He'd scream at me and his face would turn bright red. He'd ball his hands into a fist and pump them at his side while pacing around. I was afraid of this side of him, which I hadn't seen before. And this would be 7/17. Where is my calendar? 7/17. So says she went to the ER for excessive bleeding. She says she's having a miscarriage due to the bleeding. And after the first Planned Parenthood attempt, so Mike says, I'm sorry you were bedridden all day, and yes, our relationship will be good. Believe, darling. She says, I'll stop doing research because we just won't know for sure for a few days until we make a decision on twins.
Twins?
Yeah, so she knows they're having twins.
How did you come up with that? Where did you come?
Twins would be such a cool experience to have together. So many things I want to do with you
and for context, sorry, finish off. Finish off what you're saying. I thought you finished. Go continue.
I want to do with you and that just sounds fun. Wish this wasn't an added stress factor for us because twins definitely change the picture.
Mm-hmm.
I've been sick for the last hour and it's upsetting me that I haven't heard from you since we're a team in this. If we're completely sure we aren't going to go through with it, even if it's twins, it's important for me to lie down all day.
You want to know what's funny as well in all of this? The next day she has that appointment, right? And it's the following sequence of events that makes these messages. It's what I'm trying to say. That makes its messages see through. I don't know. It's the lack of words that I have. English is not my first. Well, no, I wouldn't say transparent, but it just makes it. There's an uglier word that I'm looking for. It's uglier than transparent, but it's like it's not pants. Being caught with your pants down. It's just I don't know what word best describes it, but it's just when you're laid bare and you're just like torn to shreds, and like every part of your intimate moments has just been like,
oh yeah,
it's like that. It's like that. Like to me, this is an exposure.
Yeah, exposed would probably be the best word because okay. You think about it, how many times it doesn't matter who you are. If your emails and text messages were suddenly brought to the public for ridicule and analysis, then everyone would be embarrassed about it, and because when you send these messages in confidence, you don't think that someone else is going to be reading it. And then, 5-6 years later, after the fact, somebody is, and then you're like, wow, the me would not like me 6 years ago or 10 years ago, because everyone grows at a certain point. But in this case, it's not about growth, it's about all of the terrible things someone does as a human being.
Absolutely. Hold on. I'm trying to share. I'm not sure. Okay, so before we continue, who is have I asked already? Did I just forget? Who is Colin? If I asked already, just ignore me.
You asked that already, I
Yeah,
believe.
I asked that already. Okay. All right. Yeah, I asked already.
But
Yeah.
but
Sorry,
I
go
think
on.
it's Mike's friend that wrote a direct declaration in
That's
support
it.
of him,
Thank you.
or
Yep. Colin, he had
Scanlon.
written
Yeah.
yeah, he had written the first declaration, which we're gonna go into right now. Make sure that you hit the like button, folks. Let's raise the energy up in here a little bit. It does feel a little bit deflating. It is a Thursday night. Deadpool is out. I don't know if you guys have
I saw
enjoyed that viewing. Don't say anything. I still haven't. I
it.
no, please don't ruin it.
I got the
I-
spoilers.
oh gosh, he's gonna do it. Look, if you do it, I will actually block you and then unblock you completely.
You
I
wouldn't.
will. Yes. Order in Ketchup Court. This is.
I will send you a Palace jersey.
Oh gosh, but yeah, I'm looking forward to going to watch that tomorrow. Uh, but uh, but yeah, like make sure you hit the also hit the subscribe button. We are very close to being monetized on here. I have a lot more trials to show you. The Corey Richard trial should be starting very very soon, and we should begin the early reactions and commentary. Look, there's a lot more that is gonna come out on this channel. So, and because I'm trying to create like a mini community here so that we can like watch trials together, etc. So there's a lot more to come from this particular channel in regards to trials, etc. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you can be alerted whenever we go live, etc. And also, and you won't miss our post whenever we share information in regards to a trial. So in regards to this declaration by Colin, this is what we're going to, this is what it says. If you guys can't see it, let me know so that I can zoom in a bit more. But the chat will be the chat, this thing here, I don't know how to get rid of it, unfortunately, on Chrome, so it's gonna be in the way. But yeah, as IT Goatee, sorry, I'll just call you Brad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That is no diss or shade. I just, it's a mouthful too much for me, so I'll just
Right.
call you Brad from now on. I just
That's good.
So Colin is Colin says, I'm the boyfriend of the respondent sister Stephanie. Stephanie is the respondent in this case is Michael Marracini, so Stephanie is Mike's sister. I remember Colin goes on to say, I met this would likely be Laura Owens several times while she was dating Michael, including a dinner with her family at the house of the prime rib. I specifically remember her being called by Michael to come to the apartment in December of 2016 for a meeting with Laura and her father to discuss Laura's desire to continue the relationship with Michael. Laura has been claiming, I'm not sure if you guys can see it. Can you guys see it? Yeah. All right. Okay. Cool. Um. All right. Just wanted to make sure. Laura has been claiming that she was pregnant and had been threatening Mike with not having an abortion if he ceased dating her. Additionally, Laura had been indicating to Mike that she was contemplating suicide at the thought of the relationship ending. Mike wanted me to be there as a witness during the meeting, with which her father, whatever his name is, did. Mr. told Michael that his daughter had a tendency to exaggerate or flat out make things up. So this is where it came from. So if you have heard this on previous episodes where people have referenced Laura making things up, this is where it came from. I believe Bruce made reference to it in the last stream, where he said the father had done that. This is the proof of it. It is alleged in, or rather attested in Colin's declaration. And okay, and she
If
says,
you want, you can bring up my screen. I've got it bigger and
yeah, sure, absolutely, sure, yeah. Go ahead and share your screen. I'll just close
it
this.
should be shared.
Yeah, go ahead and share your screen. You
It is
shared it?
shared.
Oh, you shared already. Oh, my bad, my bad. Okay. Yeah. In that case, you take the reins. Because I think you can control the mouse, so you can continue to read on. Make
Did you
sure.
pull it up?
Are you able to highlight?
No,
Oh, you can't. Wait, I can't highlight either. Like I can't actually touch the screen.
I don't think it's brought up yet. Or
What? No, it's showing on my end. I can see it.
I'm because I
Oh,
can't see it on stream, so I'm just making
oh.
sure.
Well, try
Oh, there we go.
try
Okay.
sharing it again. Try sharing it again.
No, it's shared. I in the window I can't see that it is shared. It just says that it's shared. So
Oh, I see. Okay. I get it. I get
no,
it.
you're good. So
All right.
but it says Mike was contemplating suicide. I've thought of ending the relationship. Mike wanted to be there as a witness during the meeting, which her father steered. Um, he told Mike that his daughter had a tendency to exaggerate or even flat out make things up. Ron was, or Laura was complaining of depression, suicidal thoughts at the fear of the relationship with Mike ending and was very distraught. During the meeting, there was no discussion of Michael ever having been physically or psychologically abusive towards Laura. She did not complain at all about Michael's conduct towards her. Laura admitted that she was, in fact, not pregnant and there was no need for an abortion. She also apologized for threatening to commit suicide. The meeting ended with no final decision on the relationship, just the agreement that Mike would not rush a decision and for the two of them to continue to work through things. Mr. Owens was thankful as he, Michael, and myself left the apartment. Mr. Owens advised Michael in the elevator on the way out of the building that he very appreciated Michael agreeing to not end the relationship outright and see how it goes, and then advised him to get out in a few weeks when his daughter had a chance to calm down and can get a handle on her depression.
Right. So, okay. So, based on those set of facts, in regards to this, um, let's go with the suicide claim because that's new. I don't believe, unless memory is failing me, I don't believe I've heard that Laura was claiming suicidal because that's pure psychological abuse, and that is what. And she is. I couldn't. If that was definitely happening, I can 100% call her an abuser now outright because that is abusive. Someone is trying to leave you, and you're like, "Well, I'll kill myself." No, that's torment. That's psychological torment. So, um, do you know more about this suicide and why she was making that allegation? Anything?
No, I don't.
Nothing in communications that might reflect with Mike. No.
Not that
Okay.
I've seen specifically.
Right. Okay. That jumped out at me. I just didn't know where that came from. I can understand the context. In context, it makes sense why she might be feeling suicidal.
Well, I don't know if she's actually been suicidal. It's not something that's been brought up in her medical history about serious forms of depression and whatnot. But if for whatever reason the pregnancy, the ovarian cancer, and whatnot weren't causing him to or to convince himself to stay, then it might be that she's just pressing the nuclear button and going, well, if you're not going to stay with me for this, then I'm going to do the
Don't you?
ultimate act, and then yeah.
Right, and also I think there is also something to be said in regards to the fact there is something to be said when it comes to this particular case, um, in regards to Colin just said something right now that I had in my head. I was gonna make a point, it literally just went away in my head.
Uh-oh.
Angry. No, it's there is something to be said in regards with all of that's the one. Got it back. Okay. The two counties because she's now doing this in Maricopa County. But it's interesting here. I just literally just noticed this. This is filed in California courts.
Yeah, this is
Do
San
you think
Francisco.
that right? Do you think that there is a law over there that may have that may have prevented her from doing what she has been able to successfully achieve with Eckhart, Clayton, Eckert, and Greg Gillespie? Do you think there's a law that I prevented her from doing it to Mike Marracini on this occasion?
No, I don't think so. Um, she's utilizing the justice system to be able to punish her ex-boyfriends through any means necessary. And I just think that with Greg Gillespie and Clayton Eckert, she was able to take it much farther sooner than she did with Mike, because with Mike, it's a much longer drawn out relationship that versus what happened with Clayton and Greg. With those two, it was pretty quickly. I think Greg had 3 dates with her, and Clayton had the one intimate encounter
Right.
after a few days of knowing her. But with this, we're talking about a long term relationship that they have. They gone on trips
Yeah.
to Dubai, to Iceland, and it's through that entire relationship that she's emotionally unstable. And that's really it's not until well afterwards that she claims DV. She goes for the restraining order and all of that stuff, and then I think she uses those her experience with Mike to be able to try and punish Greg and Clayton.
So she leveled up basically.
Kinda, yeah.
And learned. Okay.
And I think
So
that's really why the criminal prosecution really shouldn't be just limited to what she did with Clayton, but also with Greg.
right. I maybe a Rico type kind of thing. I know Rico doesn't get the best rap, but maybe it might work on the situation. Who knows? I don't know.
I don't think Rico is really applicable here because
No, it's not. It's not. I was more so trying to describe consolidation. You know, when you can like consolidate all cases and like just bring them
oh
all
yeah,
together.
you
Yeah,
can
that's what
certainly
I was more
consolidate,
speaking
but
to.
um,
Mm.
but yeah, Rico wouldn't be the case because there's no organized group and there's no conspiracy or anything like that.
Right? No, of course, of course. Yeah, it was flawed from the get go. No, I'm not contesting that it was the best idea in the better than Einstein's theory of relativity. I'm not. That's
Right.
not what I'm saying. But yeah, like I personally thought that could have been interesting because if she failed in California but you're succeeding in Maricopa, maybe there is something that they're doing right in California but wrong in Maricopa. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
All right. So let me go into the next slide. So this is Laura's declaration, and this is the last declaration that we're gonna read, and then we're gonna call it an evening, because we'll follow up with the other declarations in the next stream. But here, Laura says that
I've got
she
that one
admit.
up as well.
Oh, okay, yeah. Go ahead and share yours. Let's use yours.
So it says, I, Laura Owens, declares the follows. I make all of the statements herein of my own personal knowledge, except as the matters stated on the information and belief, and as the matters I believe them to be true. If called as a witness, I would testify here too. I've known person over 14 years. We met in 2004 and been close friends ever since. I met Mike in and around April 2016. And when Laura introduced him to me, after Laura and Mike started dating, I saw less and less of Laura. And when I asked Laura to hang out with me, she'd tell me she needed to ask Mike first. When I did see her, Mike was almost always there and ready, and it seemed like Laura was not herself. When we would hang out, Mike tried to insert himself into the conversation. He constantly cut Laura off when she was talking, and it seemed like he needed to be in control of the conversation at all times. He also always wanted to talk about himself and said things that seemed like complete fabrications. For example, he said he was close to friends with celebrities like Ashton Kutcher and that his sister had lots of famous friends. He claimed to have a number of offers for lucrative and powerful jobs, which never actually seemed to pan out. There was something about the way he told stories that made them seem like lies. The weird thing about this is we know that Laura has done a lot of this stuff that is being claimed. So it's very weird, and it's almost like a Freudian slip, or what is it? Projecting.
Okay.
Sometime in late 2016, Laura confided in me that she was being what she described as emotionally abused by Mike. She explained that Mike had been telling her that she should cut off ties with her family, specifically her mother. In 2016 or early 2017, Laura confided in me that Mike would scream at her daily, and she was afraid of him. She said Mike repeatedly told her she was worthless and that he and her family all...
Pause. Breaks. Based on those allegations so far, has Mike actually responded to them? What has he said anything in regards to these allegations?
I don't know. I'm sure he responded to it in the restraining order hearings, but I haven't seen any direct rebuttal to these.
Oh, okay. Continue.
She said that she felt like Mike wanted her to stop communicating with her mother, which made her feel very conflicted since she and her mother are very close. In or around January 2017, Laura told Mike had been physically abusing her during sex. She told me that Mike had strangled her and tried to smother her with a pillow during sex to the point where she couldn't breathe. She said Mike would say things to her like, "I want to have total control over you." She told me that she was scared and didn't know what to do. I was sad to hear this, and I was afraid for her. I encouraged Laura to confront him and tell him how she felt. In the many years I have known Laura, I never before have seen her afraid of anyone. In early 2017, Laura called me very upset on a regular basis, 1 to 4 times per week. During these calls, she cried and told me that Mike screamed at her and degraded her. Sometimes she'd tell me that Mike strangled her during sex. In summer of 2017, Laura confided in me that she wanted to stop seeing Mike, but that she was legitimately scared of him retaliating if she did. She told me she thought he was dangerous to her physical and emotional well-being. In fall of 2017, Laura stopped dating Mike. On January 5th of 2018, Laura and I met for dinner at Mamanoko on Chestnut Street in the Marina District of San Francisco. We live a couple of blocks away from each other. We were seated at a high table next to the window that faced the street. Shortly after we received our food, Laura stopped our conversation to tell me that Mike was walking down Chestnut Street. She said that he was with a blonde woman and was walking toward the restaurant. Laura's facial expression changed. She appeared to be scared. When Mike walked by the restaurant, Laura focused her attention on me and tried to avoid making eye contact with him. Mike stopped directly in front of our table outside the restaurant window. He stared into the window at us. I looked up and briefly made eye contact with him before turning back to Laura. We tried to focus on our conversation and avoided looking outside. When I glanced outside a minute or two later, Mike was no longer there. Laura was visibly shaken by this experience. She looked so upset I thought she was going to vomit. She told me that she was afraid of Mike and felt like he was stalking her. She told me he had been showing up at restaurants he knows she frequents and had even shown up at her house several times unannounced and uninvited after she had told him she didn't want to see him. After about 5 minutes had passed, Mike came back and again positioned himself right outside the window by our table, except this time he stood even closer to the window. This time he was alone. I tried to avoid eye contact with him in hopes he would just go away, but it seemed like he was trying to get my attention. He stared directly at me, which made me very uneasy. He lingered outside the window and stared at us for a minute or so. Then he walked away from the window and entered the restaurant. Laura's facial expression changed, and she looked scared. She was already scared. Now she's not scared, or then she became unscared, and then now she's scared again. She told me that Mike had come inside the restaurant and was standing at the hostess stand, which was directly in front of her. I told her not to look at him, and she looked down at the table. For a minute or so, Laura tried to avoid looking up. She seemed nervous and uneasy. Then she told me Mike had gone to the back of the restaurant and was still staring at her. It felt very intimidating. Laura seemed really upset and uneasy. She told me that she was fearful and felt unsafe. Neither Laura nor I engaged in conversation with Mike. We also did not make any physical acknowledgement of his presence, wave, eye contact, head nod, etc. After about 10 minutes, Mike finally left the restaurant. Laura was visibly upset throughout the rest of our meal. I walked her home after the dinner to make sure she was safe. January 7th, 2018, Laura called me crying upset. She told me Mike and his sister were waiting for her outside of Emai's restaurant and that they yelled at her in the street. She said she was afraid and didn't know what they would do to try to get at her. She asked me to come over, which I did. When I got there, Laura was crying hysterically. I never had seen her so upset before. She was shaking and said she was afraid to be alone. I stayed with her for several hours to help calm her down and make sure she was safe.
Wow. Okay, there's a lot there. And I mean, a lot. So, first and foremost, what do you make of the allegations?
I don't
Of
know.
those
I think
allegations?
because if the relationship's off, and because I think they lived in close proximity to one another. So the idea that they are together, they go to different restaurants, and it would not be unheard of for a ex-boyfriend to look inside of a restaurant to determine if she is there or not, and then depending on how the sun is in there, you're like, man, I can't see nothing because the sun is reflecting off this glass and I can't see anything. And then you scan the restaurant and be like, oh, is she actually there?
Yeah.
I can't see anything. Okay, well then maybe go inside and stand at the hostess booth and do a look and make sure, is she actually there? And then, because the thing is they said she was sitting behind the hostess. So if Laura's sitting behind the hostess, he's not going to see her. So like, how in the world, it really doesn't make any sense of, this person is claiming, oh, he looked directly at me, but does he know? Well, she said she came over some first times, but if it's a random friend of someone, then I'm not going to, ingrain it in my memory that this person is a friend of my ex, especially if it's not someone that we hung out with, on a very frequent basis. You have someone's be like, hey, you remember me? I'm that friend of your ex. I'm like, no, you're going to have to refresh my memory because, other people have lots of friends. So it's just really weird.
Based on everything that you've seen so far, do you think there's a possibility that some of the things that she's made that she has made allegations here regarding could be credible, or do you think that based on the information that you know about her so far, that this is just too far gone to even think or give her the benefit of the doubt that she could be telling the truth in the absence of evidence? What do you think?
I think knowing her and knowing her character, I think that it's made up. Our justice system really seems to, especially in civil domestic matters where you don't have to make a whole lot of provable allegations on certain things. You just have to make reasonable substantiations. And if you get a written declaration from people and you have to weigh the idea of one versus the other, you're largely not going to get judges who are going to turn it down. So that's really where I kind of make the statement that courts often make determinations on things like DVROs and whatnot, that they're going to grant them regardless, just because they don't want to be the one that denies one that ends up causing a significant incident. The weird thing is why this DVRO got extended, because it shouldn't have been, because Laura had moved out of state at that point already. So how is she still in fear of Mike, even though he's stayed in California and she's now in Arizona?
Yeah, that's why I was asking, in regards to the credibility of it, because yeah, that is a factor that you have to consider. When looking at all this, is the fact that the county has decided to extend it, and it goes back to what you were saying. Could this be one of those things that they just don't want to say no and not be on the wrong side, and so they just be like, oh, okay, cool. There's nothing really to it. Well, there could be something to it, or there couldn't be anything to it. So let's just extend it for another 5 years, because that restraining order runs to 2025 now. So when you see things like that, do you think that for people that don't know anything about Mike Marracini or know anything about this case, do you think that they'll just look at that and be like, Laura could be telling the truth? Because again, like I said, without much corroboration, who is the wiser in regards to her allegations? I mean, you would pretty much have to be kind of deep dive to kind of see how she does have an habit and a pattern of lying. But really and truly, on first impressions, what do you make of that extension by the judge? Do you think there was even any merit to it or
I
anything
don't
like that?
I don't think there was any merit to it. I think it was a matter of Mike was already staying away from her and didn't want to. He's like, well, I know that she's moved away, and I can, I'm avoiding her now. If I get another, if the extension goes, then I'm still avoiding her regardless. So it's not difficult to avoid her, and I have no reason or justification to actually go see her. But I think now that we've seen the swell up of the community around Greg, Mike, and Clayton, that the courage to actually stand up to her is there, and that's where I think the renewal is. You're going to see a lot of focus put on either helping Mike raise money for a council to be able to truly fight it, to get it thrown out, and then if anything happens with the criminal prosecution, or then that's really where you're going to see the that effort pan out.
Right. Jim Schuler asked from the chat, asked, is there any record that she had an abortion? Before you answer that, I just want to say, guys, you feel free to use this moment as like a Q&A if you want. So feel free to ask literally anything you want to. Um, but yeah,
So
Brad, is there any record?
so what we do have is we have a number of what look to be Sutter Health visit summaries. The problem is we have very little to actually believe that they're true, because we can find many different problems with them to where we believe that they're not credible. Then we also have pictures of Laura taking photos of documentation that have Planned Parenthood logos at the top, and other people have made or don't believe that they're actually true. From the data that I've seen on those images, I lean that they are likely true, to believe at least one set of abortions did occur. But it's also feasible that they were faked, typed up, and then printed off so that she could then get that photo to send in.
Right. Okay. So okay, we don't have long left, so we're gonna start winding down now. I just want to say, Moon Bump is here, guys. Thank you so much, Moon Bump, for joining. He or she, because unfortunately I do not know your gender. It's not a shade. I literally just don't know.
I believe it's a she.
It's a she. Okay. Thank you for. My face is very red right now. Moon Bump, please don't hate me. Anyway, she says, I love listening to your commentary. I'm glad the calendar view was helpful. We are working on getting updated through 2018. You guys are doing an amazing job, by the way. Honestly, putting all these resources together. If you have to understand one thing about all of this, right? Every work that you guys are doing is what they would literally pay thousands and thousands of investigators to do. Defense lawyers would pay investigators to do what you guys do, compile the information you guys compile, so that they can look at simple just avenues. Can we
Yeah.
file a case? What law is she violating by saying this? What law is she violating by doing this? All of those things. So with all of this plethora of with this plethora of information that's out there already, it just needs the right lawyer, which I'm pretty sure that Eckerd Clayton is now pretty much on full steam ahead to, like, really pass all of this information on to Woodnick, I believe his name is, to
Well,
like try and look at how they can pursue civil not reparation, remuneration, civil
civil remediations.
remediations. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, they can look at civil remedies for all of this, because there is still an emotional impact which they can go through IIED for, and also there's also the monetary impact, the fact that you have a restraining order, as pointed out by Bruce and you, in fact, that
Mhm.
people calling for jobs, they can look at that and just be like, nope, those potential loss of income, they deserve to get a bite of that. And when I say they, I mean Greg, Mike, and Clayton. Sorry, what were you gonna say, Brad?
Well, I was going to say it's really up to Clayton at this point as to whether or not he
Mhm.
wants to pursue any civil case specifically. We believe that they're going to win um, on this paternity issue and then get the legal fees back. But the bigger question is, one, can they actually claim or get the judgment on those fees, regardless of whether they're going to be the full $154,000 plus that they're requesting? But then, if they actually get those fees, then they did decide, okay, we have these fees. Now, do we go for the civil damages? And do we even think it's going to be worth the effort and time to be able to pursue that piece? And then, even if we were to pursue it, could we even get the claim on it? In addition to the criminal case that's pending right now.
Right. Okay. Okay. Um. Okay. So we're just gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it there. I'm trying to think of. There was one more thing I was gonna say. That's it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. We have this weekend. Oh, right. Okay. So I was gonna make out. There is a couple of announcements. Like I said, we've been trying to. If you want to subscribe to this channel, there's a lot of reasons why you should do it, because this is the channel that I just do live stream and trial watch. We are discussing the verdict of the Ashley Benefield trial,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm discussing that with. Oh, this is not a question. I'm just giving a general announcement. Just giving a general- I apologize, Brad.
No, you're good.
No, where was I? So yeah, so we're doing the verdict talk tomorrow. I should have a guest on. I am planning another verdict talk on Sunday. There's two parts to it, because this case has really caught my attention, not specifically for the DV aspect. So I'm going to be discussing with Alison Knapp on tomorrow's stream, same time as this one, half one, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're gonna be doing that tomorrow, discussing the Ashley Benefield case and why the jury may have arrived at the decision. Once I have the other stream confirmed, I will be putting it um I'll be putting it in the community post, because I feel like it's going to become a stream where it might be a Q&A. So
Mhm.
keep your eye out for that one. So yeah, that's what's coming up this weekend. I am also There are some new cases that I am going to decide which one I'm going to watch. So whatever I am going to be doing a podcast on in regards to the unintentional juror podcast, whatever case that might be, yeah, I will be announcing it for this Sunday. regardless, Brad, I'm gonna say thank you so much for for you joining me today. I really do appreciate you, because I want you back next week for when we go through the second half of these filings, as well as we'll be going for a lot more material pertaining to Clay Eckert and what he has had to say in regards to this, because I've come across um I've come I have been looking at all of the resources now, and I want to put together like a fun stream. I want to put together like an interactive kind of
Hmm.
quiz
Yeah.
cream for the chat, so that they can try, and you guys have to school me to see how I have done trying to come into this case, learn about it, etc. So I want the OG. Like, I've got this idea in my head where you guys have been doing this for so long. I want you guys like to come in and be like, okay, I got my questions. I want you to answer this question, this question. So anyway, it might be a fun stream. Who knows? I want
Did
to
you
do a
catch
stream like that.
Laura Knighty's Two Truths and a Lie stream?
Was that yesterday?
2 nights ago.
Oh, okay. I saw it yesterday. No, I did see the stream. I saw the stream. It is something
Because it's
it is
kind of
on my
similar
watch
to
radar.
what you're discussing there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because her cousin was a guest on that stream, and she didn't know much of anything about it. So we were giving her different question or different statements about it, and she had to guess what was true and what was a lie. So it was really good.
That
So
is a
shout out to
fun
Laura Knighty
drinking.
for that.
That's a fun drinking game as well. Actually, when you
Yeah,
now think about it, the way that she was doing it, that's actually a drinking game. That's actually
yeah.
a drinking game. Rah rah baby. Laura won't stop, so I think victims need to sue. It's a lot of money, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
You guys, the amount of times I heard the word sue, or like, I'm like, when I hear it, I'm like, you guys really don't know how costly these things are. But I
Well, we do.
don't.
It's $154,000 just to defend against a suit.
I do understand. Not that I don't. Not that I disagree. I don't disagree. It's just a lot of money. But yeah,
Right.
she should be sued for defamation. But I don't think her family is as well off as she claims. Defamation definitely for the podcast. My problem would be the identifier. In my opinion, if they're gonna go for a defamation claim against the TEDx talk, because that's the only one I can probably think of in regards to like that could cause real reputation damage, where you're making claims of abuse on such a big platform, But she didn't name Mike or make, So if
Well,
they can't
unless she was
identify Mike,
dating someone else at the time, you can make reasonable inferences who she's referring to. She says my abuser and my trip to Iceland, and she wasn't there with someone else. So
I understand, but I'm talking about the court's standard. Uh, um, they would want to like be like, especially this was California, right?
yeah, in San Francisco.
Yeah, so they might want to be like, you really need to explicitly name the person, or
I don't.
or at
I don't
least have
even.
a significant identifier, like a specific
I don't
date.
think you. I don't think you need to. I think the Iceland trip is the significant identifier because
Oh, okay,
Amber Heard didn't mention Johnny Depp in her
good
post
point.
in the Washington Post, but she was still found to have defamed him in the post.
No, that's a good point, because the identifier was 2 years ago. That's actually a good point. So yeah, she did say Iceland. Okay, that's a very good point. She did say Iceland. She did say Iceland. Kelsey Jones says Lauren's stream was great. I need to check it out now. Gonna Definitely gonna utilize that watch later button. Auntie M says she needs a timeout in prison. Lauren needs a timeout in prison after a great
No,
stream. Are you sure?
Laura needs a timeout in
I'm
prison.
I couldn't resist. It was just the sequencing. It was just right there. I couldn't resist.
Right. Lauren's good people.
Okay, so I think that's all for now. We're going to leave it there. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Thank you, Moonbump, for joining. Great Paddler. Or Substack. Sorry, great Substack. I cannot wait to see more. I shall be analyzing these Substacks in more for upcoming streams. You guys have done an amazing job. Brad, any last words?
No, I'm good. I would say if you're following me, we'll be going over the Vince McMahon lawsuit here soon. I've got the documents pulled up, and it's just a matter of going through all of the pieces and understanding where it's going from here.
Nice. Let's get ready to. I'm not gonna say it.
Good old Michael Buffer.
The most legendary of hosts. The most legendary.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yes, we're gonna leave it there. Thank you so much, everyone. I still haven't got my outro, but I will tomorrow. Bye, everyone. Thanks for using the chat. Take care. Bye, Brad. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.
See you, everyone.
Zach, thank you so much in advance for the super chat that I'm expecting. That pledge. You better come through. Rita, Teresa, Roy, every single one of you. Auntie M, thank you so much for using the chat. The lurkers, Nom de Plume. If I have missed you, I am so sorry. My memory is not always great, but we're gonna leave it there. Have a great day. Take care of yourself, and yeah. Bye.
Bye.